Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. My name is Mohammad Fatirarta from class 5D. Today, I'm going to introduce, to talk, to review to you guys about a book that has been written by one of my lecturers. Let me ask you guys first. Have any of your lecturers ever written a book before? As for me, I have one, and it is Miss Hasnul Insani Johar. And this is her book. This book is called Rewriting Islam, Decolonialism, Justice, and Contemporary Muslimah Literature. This book published in 2024 by the Ohio State University Press. I want to express my gratitude to Ms. Hasnul for taking the time, effort, and resources to publish this book. Truly an extraordinary lecturer. In this book, Miss Hasnul analyzes and provides her opinion on 12 novels written by Muslimah authors. Each of them has the same thematic goal, which is to discuss the fight against Orientalism. The novels are The Girl in Tangerine Scarf, Hagar Poems, Emails from Scheherazade by Moja Kaf, A Map of Home, and Him, Me, Muhammad Ali by Randa Jaran. The Language of Baklava, and Life Without Recipe by Diana Abu Jaber, Hope and Other Dangerous Pursuits by Laila Lalami, Once in a Promised Land by Laila Halabi, Saffron Dreams by Shaila Abdullah, Beyond the Cayenne Wall by Shaila Abdullah, and Alif the Unseen by G. Willow Wilson. So, uh, from this book, I've highlighted 5 key points that pique my interest. Okay, let's start from the first one. The first one is emotion control. Indeed, by asking Sarah to be angry at Ibrahim, Kaf speaker illuminates how Muslim women can express their feelings and emotions, undermining Orientalist views perceiving Muslim women as be oppressed mentally or physically. Johar, 2024, page 64. I agree with Miss Johar's statement that through Sarah's character, we can see how Muslim women have the right and freedom to feel and express their emotions, just like women in any other culture. In many Orientalist representations, Muslim women are often seen as passive figures, trapped in patriarchal traditions, or even voiceless in making decisions or taking stand. The second one is hijab as a symbol. The hijab is a part of submission to God, freedom of expression, and protection from men's gazes, instead of being oppressed or violent as presented in Orientalism. Johar 2024, page 88. I agree with Ms. Johar's statement. First, by describing the hijab as a part of submission to God, the sentence acknowledges that for many Muslim women, wearing the hijab isn't a fact. It is a fact of faith and spirituality in line with their religious beliefs. This defies the simplistic Orientalist view that portrays the hijab as something that is forced upon women without regard to their personal agency or devotion. The second one, the mention of freedom of expression, is an important counterpoint to the idea that the hijab restricts women. For many Muslim women, wearing the hijab can be a conscious decision that allows them to express their identity and religious value. Lastly, the idea that the hijab offers protection from men's gazes reframes it as a tool of empowerment and agency in a world where women's bodies are often objectified. Rather than seeing the hijab as a form of oppression, the statement positions it as a choice that shields women from external scrutiny and allows them to control how they are perceived in society. The third one is love, power, and resistance. Alif aims to fight against any form of oppression and discrimination, especially on behalf of working class religious immigrants. Alif is rendered as fighting against any form of social injustice to protect his clients, especially Muslimah feminists, represented by Comfort and by Intisar, who is Alif's girlfriend but is eventually married to the Hand, who is more powerful than Alif. Johar 2024, page 67. I agree with Ms. Johar's statement. The emphasis on protecting Muslimah feminists is particularly interesting, as it showcases the intersection of faith and feminism. It challenges stereotypes that Muslim women are passive or oppressed, instead portraying them as individuals with agency who are worth defending. The fourth one is global injustice. Lalami's novel connects to gender and global problems by considering how prostitution tends to exploit women's bodies in the same way colonialism has been perpetuated for many centuries. Many white male politicians have supported and regulated prostitution as a legal profession. Johar, 2024, page 115. I agree with Ms. Johar's critical analysis. In Laila Lalami's novel, draws a parallel between gender-based exploitation and the broader historical context of colonialism, by suggesting that prostitution exploits women's bodies in a way similar to the exploitation inherent in colonialism. The sentence emphasizes the ongoing intersection of gender and global power dynamics. And the last one is abuse of power. The FBI agent is depicted as prejudiced against Jassim for assuming that he is one of the radical group members. In this sense, this text uses irony by transforming the role of FBI from the protector of American citizens to an official front US surveillance. Johar, 2024, page 134. I agree with Ms. Johar's critical perspective on the role of FBI in the narrative, highlighting the use of irony to critique the agency's actions. By portraying the FBI agent as prejudiced against Jassim, assuming he is a member of radical group, the text challenges the idea of the FBI as a neutral protector of American citizens. Instead, it reveals how racial profiling and prejudice assumption can transform the agency from a protector into a tool of surveillance and control, particularly against marginalized communities. Alright, so now I want to talk pros and cons. I want to talk about 3 pros and 2 cons. The first one, for the pros, unique decolonial approach. This book offers a fresh perspective on understanding contemporary Muslimah literature through a decolonial lens. The second one is amplifying Muslim women's voice and identities. For those interested in gender issues and the representation of Muslim women, this book is highly relevant. The third one is relevance on contemporary issues. By connecting literary narratives with issues like Islamophobia, racism, and surveillance policies, this book is relevant in the post-9/11 context. For the cons, the first one is potentially high complexity. Given its interdisciplinary and complex subject matter, this book may feel challenging to follow for the readers who are not familiar with decolonial theory. And for the second one is possibility of biased perspective. Since the book adopts a decolonial perspective and critiques Orientalism, there might be a risk of bias in portraying the Western world or institutions like the FBI negatively without presenting a more balanced view. Would I recommend this book? Yes. I would highly recommend Miss Johar book, especially for readers interested in the colonial studies, Islamic feminism, and contemporary literary criticism. I think that's all for me today. You guys can get this book on websites such as maybe Amazon, I think. Yeah. Alright, so I think that's all for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed my review video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you guys in another time. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Bye bye.